we're going to go ahead. We're just going to start raking this tree out. So what it's going to look like is we're just going to start from the top up here. And we're just going to start pulling away these roots up top. We'll find the wire, get it out. This one probably, there it goes. Get it out. So from there, we're just going to start root raking, pulling. We got a lot of fine feeder roots in here. And we'll keep this moss too, some of it. Or just plant new moss. I haven't decided. So, I think I'll keep some of it. Just throw it down here with the other stuff. So now we're just going to get in. We're just going to start raking it out. And then you'll start to see these roots come in untangled as we get in here. So this is very tight. It's just it's also hard too. So just keep pulling. You can kind of see, I'm going to pull the drainage screen out, but I mean it is very compact in here. So we can just keep working these sides and hopefully it'll get that top done. So let's keep raking these sides out. This tree had a lot of dieback this winter. I'm not really sure why, but it still has healthy roots to it, so it's still getting some nutrients. That's good. So I mean, it just keeps snaking on this pot too. I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's definitely root bound, so I don't feel so bad raking it in here and pulling some of this out. So we're just getting in here, pulling it out, breaking up the soil. So let's see, where's that screen? Oh, tore. It's got so many roots growing through it. Oh well, it's the name of the game. It happens. Can't reuse everything, unfortunately. So, I'm just going to get under here too. Break it out. So, I'm going to do that. Finish that up. Clean up, show you what we got. And then we will come back when I'm in the repotting process. Alright guys, so as I'm combing out, we're kind of getting this circular pattern here. We're getting it in the bottom. We'll have to, when we come in, we'll cut a lot of these downward growing roots off. And we'll cut to profile of the tree. And then we have a rather large root here that I want to cut. And this root will see how much I need to either remove or not. So I'm going to get my cutters, do that. Because it kind of snakes back and then back under. And I don't really like that. So it needs to go. But I'm not sure how much other stuff is attached to this. So we're going to get that in, cut that, give it one more good spray, clean up the workbench, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so before we get to the action of actually showing you guys the tree, let's prepare this pot. So it's got 4 holes and then a big drainage hole. So these are for wires, the smaller ones. Got my drainage screen. It'll go in there. It'll sit there. What we're going to do, take some wire. I'm using just one for this tree because it's fairly small in comparison. So, I'm not super worried about it breaking or anything like that. I feel like it's a pretty reasonable size. Sometimes you need to go higher for bigger trees, but for this one, a 1 should work. So I've got, and I'm also not tying in the drainage screen because it's so big, but sometimes you would need to do that. So just keep those facets in mind. I'm gonna run one up and through. Also, the screen itself will be help by being held in by the actual wire too. So don't worry too much about it. It's not a huge deal. It does matter for your bigger trees, but like I said, for this one, it's so small. I don't foresee me needing to tie it in to be super happy. The pot's now ready. So we got our wire holding down the mesh, the 4 wires. All right, so then we're just gonna put a layer of soil in the bottom and kind of mound it. And I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, sorry for this wind today. It's been real rough. So, okay. So when we come in, it's kind of mounted so it's higher in the center than it is on the outside. So with that, set this to the side. Let's grab our tree, which is right here. So we took off that big root and we kind of got this nice little round base. So initially this was the front right here. I'm still going to try and go for this as the front. So here's the front base. All right. So if you can tell, it's kind of leaning to the right. It wants to. So we got to take off some stuff on the bottom on the left. So I'm going to grab my root prunes. We're going to try and get it to sit flat. We got some stuff that's just growing straight down. We're going to cut off. And that'll be okay. All right. So minus the wind, it's sitting pretty good, and it's sitting pretty good. It's just blowing because of the wind. So we have a lot of these really long roots going off to the side that aren't going to fit in the pot nice. So it's bigger than the pot. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut around until it'll fit in the pot. And then we'll tie it down, and I'll show you guys what to do next. So now we've cut most of these roots back to a manageable circle. We have our pot, and we're going to test fit, and it fits pretty well in there. So the next step for this tree is to tie it in. So we have our wire, come up and over, up and over. It helps if you have a pair of pliers too to tighten this down. So we're going to do the other side, up and over. So now that that's tied in pretty well, now we get to start working soil in. And for that, oh, hold on. I'll cut these off into just the trash pile. So the tree is basically tied in. So now what we're going to do is start working the soil in and getting that all well and good. It's sitting well in the pot. I think that's a good height. I like it kind of out for this tree. So we're going to take soil and just start feeding it around, poking it in. And then what we'll do once we get like a nice decent layer in there is work it in with a chopstick. Now this is always an important process to find those holes and get soil in between all of the roots that are in the tree. So don't skip on this process. It is an extremely important process to do for any tree that you have to make sure that its survival rate is high. Okay, so you'll know if you need more soil. It'll keep going down, so just keep working it in. And like I said, eventually the soil will just stop filling in holes, and that's when you know you've hit your area of soil that is good. So I'm gonna just keep working it in with the chopstick just like that, and we will get back to it. So now we're just working it in, working the soil in still around the edges. So take your chopstick, find those air pockets, give it a nice wiggle, get that soil in there. Use as much as you need. You don't want any air pockets because that is detrimental for the tree. So, you know, if you have anything like that, you're going to need to fill it in as much as possible. So, you know, I just keep working around the trees, poking stuff down, finding those air pockets, using my hand to brace, fill soil with it so I'm not spilling it everywhere. And it prevents other soil that you put in from moving as well if you give it a little pressure. So you just work it in, try and get, you know, you'll see the soil fall into the hole. So if you have any doubts that there's a hole and you're poking and prodding, and you find you feel the chopstick go in, you probably got a hole. So just give the chopstick a wiggle, a giggle. It'll enjoy it. You know, you'll be okay. So, you know, just keep doing that to the whole tree. You might have to go around twice. So I'm going to do this area again because some of the soil just moved or, you know, it got shifted. But you can see my chopstick going all the way in, soil falling in. So we want to just continue to fill those gaps, those holes, and put as much soil as the tree needs into those holes. Okay? So, now we're here. It's looking really good in my opinion. It's a little high on this one side. On the side facing the front. I think that's okay though. I don't think it's going to hurt anything too bad. I got a couple of roots sticking out that just aren't buried. So I'm going to cut those off. They just won't go into the soil, and that's okay. Sometimes you get those. And then what I'm going to do too is we're going to take our moss. We're going to cover it back up and push in, push down against that soil so you can get a nice seal along. I like to get a nice seal along the edges so no soil falls out. You know, make sure it's just all in there. Dang, it's windy out. So I got it repotted, reshaped. It looks good. We'll cut all that dye back out and reduce some of the foliar mass up top by just doing some thinning. Hey guys, I hope you liked the videos on repotting today. If you liked them, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions. Donate to my GoFundMe if you could. It'd be awesome. Help me get to Japan. But other than that, this will be me signing out. Sayonara.